Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Shayna Stone with Ladies in Film and Television, and we're back for week 2 of interviews with the cast and crew from Sea Blues. I am so excited to be here with you all for another week. Last week, we had an amazing week full of interviews from our writers' room, actors, and actresses, and I'm just excited to have you all here again. So we're here for week 2 of interviews, and we're also excited to announce that we will have our meet and greet on June the 12th. So that's coming up this week as well. And this today we're going to be interviewing some actors and actresses. We're also going to have some of our behind the scenes cast. I'm sorry, behind the scenes crew, director of photography, editors are in the building. One of our co-directors of Sea Blues here is also going to be interviewed today as well. So make sure you grab a seat and pull up and just get ready to learn more about the cast and crew of Sea Blues and more about the different roles that other people play. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. We have one of our actors in the building today. This actor is going to tell us more about his role in Sea Blues. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessie Barnes Jr.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Jessie. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's so good to have you in the building. So it looks like you in the car, but that's great. Where are you in the world? Are you here in Texas or are you somewhere
I'm
a
in New
thousand
York.
miles
I'm in
away?
New York City. I'm in New York City.
Wow, New
Yeah,
York City, East
New York
Coast in
City.
the building.
Yes. East Coast is in the house.
Yes, the Big Apple NYC is in the building. Well, thank you so much for taking time to interview with me today. I just want you to, we're just going to dive right in. Tell us what your role was in Sea Blues. Tell us who you are.
I'm Pastor Noonan, and I'm one of the pastors that he's like an old school pastor, and he's really into what he do, and he's into the word, and he's into his people also. But when controversy hits, he's not afraid to just tell people what's going on in his mind. So I give the other pastors a hard way of going.
See, I grew up Church of God in Christ, so I know what that's about. I'm
You
like,
know that.
okay, yeah, I got that good Kojic background. So, how much of that character was influenced from people in your life? What did you pull from your pastors you see on TV? Where were you able to pull from to draw inspiration for that character?
Well, I like you said, I pulled it from family. I have family that are pastors, deacons, and people from around the church and everything like that. So I just pulled a lot from that, and I see how they act, and that's what pulled the Pastor Noonan out.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So, tell me a little bit about your background. How long have you been acting, and how
Well,
was it acting virtually?
virtually it was a challenge because I had to get used to it. I'm used to either on stage or I'm doing some filming, but when you do it virtually, it's like you're by yourself in a room with lights and a camera, and you try to it's kind of hard getting a feeling out, and no one's giving you a response back. So you have that's where the acting come in. So, but I've been acting for the last 11 years. I retired from being a law enforcement officer, but I
Mm-hmm.
always had the passion of doing something. Um, in New York, I had a video show called Underground Rough House, where I took underground artists and I interviewed them. I would go out to their book signing, to their album release parties, and all that kind of stuff. And I got a lot of influential artists like Jay-Z, 50
Wow.
Cent, Faith, Biggie, all of them before they even got started. So that what got me going into doing what I do now.
That's amazing. How does it feel being on the other side? So you mentioned that you used to do what I'm doing, being the interviewer. How does it feel, now being on the other side of the camera? And, what's the difference? Is it easy? Was it an easy transition?
It was actually behind the camera is a lot easier than the acting because you have to take a direction from your director and and portray that, and you have to
Yes.
be that, and it takes time to sit down and get a character together. It's not as easy as everybody think. Everybody say I can act, I can do this, but when you get down to it and you make that character you and make it like people can say, wow, I believe that Pastor Noonan. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a while. It really do.
Yeah, the character that you play, yeah, very believable. Like growing up in the church, we know, them old school pastors, them old Kojic pastors. So I,
Yeah,
I can
man.
tell that it took a lot of time and dedication to build, the
Yeah.
essence of that character, and you did a really great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you very
you're
much.
welcome.
I
So
had a
we
good
talked about. Go ahead.
I had a good director. Jeanette is a very good director. I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
she is.
So we talked about you filming from home virtually and some of the challenges. Was there anything positive from that? From filming virtually, I know that it's a challenge, and with the current pandemic. But can you think of anything that was positive from working at home?
Well, the positive thing about it is that now that the pandemic is lessening, um, I'm still doing virtual auditions. So now that I don't have to leave my house, I'm kind of used to the virtual now because most of the auditions that I go, I would say 90% of the auditions are virtual.
Okay, I think I'm having some issues with my mic, Jesse, or some audio. If could you check the audio and to see if the volume is turned up on your phone? I'm getting something on my end.
Okay.
Okay, that's much better now. Um,
Okay.
if you don't mind, if you could just repeat the last part about filming
Of
from
doing
home, the virtual aspect.
well, the virtual aspect is it was a blessing in disguise because now with the virtual, I had to get used to it. And when I started doing it, it took practice. Then people was asking, casting directors was asking for me to do self tapings. So after that, I got used to it. I got my equipment, got a green screen, and and now it's secondhand. I can just do it in a fly.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. So, I mean, I know a lot of people said how difficult it was, but I'm glad that each and every one that I've interviewed found a positive aspect of it. And I love hearing that
Yes,
story, how we have to take lemons and make lemonade. I think all of us as actors and actresses, we don't want to be filming from home. We don't want to have to do all the setups on our own, but we learn so much about self taping and how to
yes,
do the lighting and the angles ourselves. And I actually kind of learned my best angles, and you learn a lot just from doing it yourself. And that
yes,
that that
yes.
will that skill will open up other endeavors, and
Other
other
doors.
opportunities for us in the future.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So, let's talk about characters. We talked about your character, Pastor Noonan. Who is your favorite character other than yourself, and why?
Ooh, ooh. Um, it's hard to say because I do laugh at some of the characters. Um, the nurses, the nurses go at it. I love the nurses. They sit back and they hit each other. Pastor Quigley, I like Pastor Quigley also because he comes with that southern drawl, that southern Baptist kind of preacher. So I like the nurses. I do like the nurses, and I do like Pastor Quigley. And now he's going through something now, so it's interesting with him.
It's really interesting. It's really excited, and I'm glad to hear about all of our favorites. And it's just been an amazing journey watching See Blues and watching how you develop chemistry, amongst your characters, regardless how far away you are from each other. It just came together so organically, and I just find that to be amazing, absolutely amazing.
I
So,
can't wait. I can't wait. We can get. I didn't mean to cut you off. I can't wait till we can all get together at one time and meet each other. I don't care. I'll come to Houston, Dallas, or whatever, just to meet everybody.
yeah, I mean, it would be exciting because you guys gelled and meshed together so beautifully from afar. I can only imagine what that comedic timing, what that humor would be like face to face in person. Because some of you guys have this natural, chemistry and comedic
Right.
timing,
Exactly.
improvisation. It's like, oh my gosh! Imagine
Yes.
if all of them are in the same studio. I mean, I
Yes.
can
Yes.
only imagine. I'm
Yes.
just excited. I'm just excited. It definitely has been amazing to watch See Blues and what you guys have just been able to put together. Like I said, talk about lemons and lemonade, making lemonade out of lemons in the middle of a pandemic. You come together and you create an amazing ensemble with an amazing cast. So,
Yes.
without giving it away season two, what do you think the audience is going to take away? We're always looking for a message in something. We're always looking for the silver lining, or what am I supposed to take out of this? Should I be closer to my family? Is this about unity? Is it about triumph over troubles? What do you think, us, from audience perspective, will take away?
Well, in season two, I see
Mm-hmm.
they get more in depth with each character. Now, with the pastors, they're showing like with me and Lady Noonan, is that we are people also. So we say honey and babe and boo and all that. Pastors do that, and their wives, the pastor and the wives do that, and we're finding out a little bit more about each and every person during a pandemic. Some families stick together, some families don't, and that's real life. That's real life stuff. So a lot, in season two is getting more in depth and personal.
Always being in this church in this formal setting, that they say honey, they say babe, they say boo. That is showing the audience, pastors are real people. They do let their hair down, so to speak, and show affection to their respective spouses, in the same manner that we do.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I really like that. I like that. Like we're kind of like, getting a sneak peek or a deeper look into the lives of people that we hold in such a high regard that we see more in a reserved space.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you know, a pastor, he's a man. And if he wants to show affection to his wife, how can you do that? You have to be affectionate. And I think as a man of God, God would want you to do that in a relationship. And that's what season two is bringing out. And I like the way they're just bringing that out to show another side of being a pastor and the pastor's wife.
Absolutely. So, what's next for Jesse Barnes Jr.? What do you have going on? What's coming up that you can share with us?
Well, I got a couple of feature films that I'm working on right now. I have a feature film that's out now that's been playing. It's called Sinners Wanted. I play a deacon in that one. It was played on TV One, and right now you can get it on Tubi. So that is what I worked on. That's about been going through the pandemic because it came out right at the pandemic time and it's been playing during that time. But I have a couple of feature films coming up, and I'm working on some commercials that I just that's where I'm coming from now. I just finished doing a commercial. So, the work is getting steady now since the pandemic has lifted. Say it again. I didn't hear you.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I'm just saying, well, congratulations on all of your endeavors. That's exciting that you're just leaving from filming a commercial. That is amazing to know. And just let us know where we can find you on social media. We do want to give you a shout out so we can have other people here give you a follow. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Uncle Jessie 53.
Uncle Jessie 53. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jessie Barnes Jr. in the building. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. You can follow Jessie on Instagram at Uncle Jessie 53. That's at Uncle Jessie 53, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Bye-bye now. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Uncle Jessie 53. You can follow him on Instagram at Uncle Jessie 53. Jessie Barnes, ladies and gentlemen. So we are in our second week of interviews with the cast and crew from Sea Blues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to be back with you for the second week with all of these amazing interviews. We're going to be interviewing cast and crew, directors, editors, actors are all here in the building today. So I'm just so excited. Again, this is just a tip of the iceberg of what we have in store for you. I can't wait until June the 12th as well. And we're going to be meeting in person, meet and greet with ladies in film and television. And before we get to our next guest, we do have a video that we want to play. So I'm going to allow our tech team to get that video up and running, and I'll be right back with our next interview after the video.
Calling from a different number?
Mama, what you and Miss Gertie fighting about now?
Mom, I have to pee, and quit leaving your door unlocked.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest, Freddie Watkins, is the editor, director of photography, and he is on the board of directors for Ladies in Film and Television. I am so excited to interview someone who plays an integral role in anything film related. This person has an integral role. So this is Freddie Watkins, who I'll be interviewing. Hi, Freddie. Can you hear me?
Hey, Shayna, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you
today?
Let me
make sure I'm good. Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Where are you in the world? I'm here in Dallas, Texas. Where are you?
Next door in Fort Worth.
Next door. Hey, neighbor. I'm excited to interview you because I'm looking at your titles: editor, director of photography, and you're also on the board of directors for Ladies in Film and Television. And the editor has one of the most important roles in cinematography, in film. And if you could just explain to, our audience what your role consists of as both editor and director of photography.
Well, my role consists of when everybody sends their video clips in from the script. It's my job to organize it, put it on the timeline, and with the script next to me, cut it up to where it's interesting, and they do an excellent job. But then I bring my piece to add a little more creativity to. If they're in a hospital, it's my job to find a hospital scene or hospital clip to bring you into that scene, or outside their home to bring you into their home. So it's my job to make it all come together because everybody's scattered out everywhere. So it's my job to make it all come together and look like they all are right there together.
Yeah, and you did an amazing job doing that. It's almost like taking the pieces of a puzzle, and you know how we have to fit all of those pieces together to get the big picture or to get the big story. So I imagine all of those emails coming from different directions. You might get the beginning, the end first, then the middle, then the beginning. You have to take all of those pieces and create a cohesive story. And it's almost kind of like piecing together a puzzle. So with that being said, sometimes when things don't fit, do you have to take it out and then maybe try again later and put it back or put it somewhere else? How often does that story change when you're editing?
Well, the cast is pretty good at following instructions to what we need to make it happen. So if we get to that situation and I don't have exactly what I need, we try to stay ahead of ourselves so we can call them and say, hey, reshoot that scene, but make sure you do it this way instead of that way, you know, because we want to make a lot of scenes, a lot of people look like they're in the same room together, even though they're not, maybe not in the same state. So,
Yes.
but the cast is real good at getting what we need to make it happen.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So as an editor, I mean, you're doing all of this from home. I'm not sure how it affects you virtually, but if it did, being the editor and being DP, did this process, if it did affect you at home from working from home, can you just share with us how it was difficult for you to do this all virtually, or really was it too much of a difference considering your role?
Different. It was different in the sense that if I'm on set, if I see something happening at that point, I can say, "Hey, let's do that again. Let's shoot that again." But when you not on set, you get what you get, and then you look at it, and then you have to make a decision whether it needs to be shot again or can you roll with it. So, like I said, when you're on set, you give advice on spot, but when you're not, you have to do it after the fact. So that's the only difference.
Okay, so between editing and being a director of photography, which one is your baby, or do you equally enjoy doing those?
I'd rather let somebody direct while I edit, but either one of them is fine. Yeah, either one of them is fine because they all go together. Because you really kind of want to have your input in while it's happening. So they kind of go hand in hand. So you almost have to do a little bit of both.
Okay, and how long have you been editing and directing?
I started out just as a photographer, and I thought that's all I wanted to do was be the best photographer I could be. But as things opened up, I started doing video, and the next thing you know, I was doing video editing, director. So I think since 2013 was the video came into play. 2007 the photography, but then 2013 the video started coming into play, and then it's been actually more video now than photography because it's just so popular.
Absolutely. So what I'm coming to find out as I'm pretty new to ladies in film and television, but what I am learning that there are so many different roles and so many different things that we can do. So it's not only actors and actresses, editors, director of photography, production assistants, that there are lots of behind the scenes opportunities. If someone is watching and listening and they're interested in learning the editing process or becoming a director of photography, what advice would you give them?
Find somebody that you know that's doing what you want to do and ask, can you be on the set and help out in any kind of way? Because anytime you in the vicinity of what you want to do, you learn and you soaking up information like a sponge. And that's kind of how I kind of picked it up too. I do videography for the Jubilee Theater in Fort Worth, and sometimes I'll just go and watch the director direct. I'm sitting in the audience and I'm quiet, just watching, and so soak up all the information you can. If you know somebody, ask them, can you be on the set? Can you help out? You know, any kind of way, and just soak it up and take it in, and then let that. Once you get it in you figure out how you want to put it out. You don't want to be this person or that person. You want to take it in and then put it out the way it comes out of you.
I absolutely get that. So it's really about shadowing, asking the right questions. So if someone was interested and they're a part of Ladies in Film and Television, they could reach out to you like, hey, Freddie, via email, I'm interested in editing, or I want to be a DP someday. Can I shadow you? Can I watch? And that would be a great start for someone who wants to, move in that direction, right?
Exactly. And I can use the help. So come on.
Right. He said, come on. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening and you're interested, maybe the acting thing isn't for you. Maybe you're interested in a more technical role. Then you know that you can send an email to our president or vice president or to Freddie himself. He's on the board of directors, and let him know that this is something that you're interested in. You want to speak up. And if that's your dream and passion to be an editor or be a director, just, write a small note and say, hey, may I shadow you? Can I follow you? I'm really interested in learning this aspect of the industry. And that's really how most of us get started. But sometimes it takes a little courage. You have to speak up, and it's okay to try something. And then you decide that's not your avenue. You tried it, you put it on your resume, you know how to do it, and you move on to something else that may be better fitting. So I hope I summed that up, Freddie. Please feel free to jump in on that aspect of it. But I know the best way to learn, we have to watch and we have to observe.
Yes, you did. You did a good job. And sometimes you'd be surprised, just being on the set, doing what I do. It was a movie I was on, and they needed an extra. So just being there, I wind up being an extra in the movie as well. So sometimes you just never know what you might gravitate towards. And so, and in fact, it's a movie coming out, a Christmas movie coming out later this year. My right shoulder is prominently featured as a photographer, shot from behind. But you just never know. That may lead you into acting. Jeanette may write something especially for me. Who knows? Jeanette.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the screen. I thought my mic was muted. We're having some feedback. I'll try to correct it. Sometimes when I speak, we get some popping sounds and feedback. So they've been muting the mic. Say that. Okay, got it. So, what's next for you? And what do you have going on, that you can share with us? I think, to my understanding, season 2 fully wrapped, already ready to go. What other endeavors that you have, that you can share with us?
Yes, I'm currently in the process of editing season 2 now. The actors have wrapped, and I'm putting it all together. But since this pandemic is kind of lifting, the phone is ringing and now people want to do stuff. But while I was having that downtime, I just studied my craft and practiced and watched tutorials and took classes to get better. So when the thing did open back up, I was ready to run with it. So just keep my eyes open and just gravitating the way I want to go. But things are starting to pick up quite a bit now since this pandemic is lifted.
That's good to know, and I am excited to hear more and see more. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow Freddie Watkins on Instagram. He has a photography studio. He's the director of photography. Also, held the role as editor. You can follow him on Instagram at Forever Photography Studios. Once again, that's on Instagram at Forever Photography Studios. Freddie, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
All right. Thank you, Shayna. Good to meet you.
Likewise. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That was an amazing interview with our editor and director of photography, Freddie Watkins, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to keep going. It looks like we have another actress in the building today from Sea Blues. I am so excited to interview Miss Michaella Terrell.
Hi, Shayla.
Hi, Michaella. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here and to be able to interview you today. So where in the world are you? I'm in Dallas. Where are you?
I'm in Dallas. Actually, I'm in DeSoto, Texas.
Yay, Texas. So are you like me? Are you tired of the rain? If I remember correctly, I didn't move to Seattle.
Right. Yes, the rain. We have a lot of that.
Dallas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, welcome.
So thank you so much for joining me here today. Can you tell us and our audience what role you played in Sea Blues?
Okay, so in Sea Blues, I am Dr. Lacey, and I'm also one of the writers for Sea Blues as well. So Jeanette gave a great opportunity and created a writer's room. So I teamed with a partner for episode 4, and then we all came together for episode 8. So yeah, I'm playing Dr. Lacey.
That's amazing. So you hold 2 roles. You're in the writer's room and
Mm-hmm.
you're an actress in Sea Blues. So wearing 2 hats. Did you get a sneak peek at Dr. Lacey's sides before, did you, or were you involved in any of the writing process for your own character? I just think that is so cool and so amazing to see how a script comes together from the writing aspect and then to turn around and then be in front of the camera. What was that like?
It was exciting. And no, I didn't get a chance to write for Dr. Lacey, but it was very exciting. And, it was challenging, but challenging in a good way. So this is my first time writing. So it was really fun.
That's good. How long have you been acting?
Actually, I just started in September of 2020.
Wow. So new to acting, new to writing. I find that's absolutely amazing. You did an amazing job. The writing aspect of Sea Blues is great, and of course the performances are absolutely amazing. So that's amazing. Great job. So your character, Dr. Lacey, were you in season 1 or both?
No, I'm in the character. I'm new actually to season 2.
Season 2. Okay. All right. So the big thing I keep talking about is everybody filming home, filming virtually. So you're new to the acting scene, you get a role, you gotta film at home. What was that like?
It was, let me say this, it was interesting. It was challenging, but it was fun because I'm a part of LIFT as well, Ladies in Film and Television.
Yes.
I started in January of 2020. I was invited to their master classes. So I started taking classes with Ladies in Film, and Jeanette Greenwood, our acting coach, I call her Coach J. She helped and prepared us actually for filming at home in our acting classes. So with self-taping and the importance of proper lighting and getting the camera right, having the green screen, making sure that your green screen doesn't have wrinkles, and it's a lot of that. So it was basically putting into practice what we were being taught in our acting classes. So I'm going to be honest, one of the times I was filming from home, it took me over an hour to get my camera just right. But it was really good because you get a chance to see, I'm going to say filming from home and taking my classes, acting classes with Lyft. I've taken other classes. Lyft offers a lot of classes. And so one thing I wanted to know, being new in the business, is what takes place before 3, 2, 1 action. I wanted to know, like, I had an idea, but now I have a more appreciation for the art and understanding the importance when you're in front of the camera to be prepared and making sure that your responsibility and role is taken care of to the best of your ability. And like Mr. Watkins said before, like Freddie was saying, if you need some help or there's something you want to learn, ask somebody. See that if you can, shadow someone. You can Google anything, but yeah, take extra master classes and things of that such. So even with the challenges of writing being new, I had a great writing partner, Talisa. She had written before. And so it just come together. And let me say, with this web series, it was a great opportunity, and I've learned, and I'm excited to continue learning.
Yeah, I find that to be amazing, where you all, I keep hearing this, that you were prepared because you had a visionary, a teacher, Jeanette, who equipped you with the skills to film from home. So you were already prepared to do this in this environment, and to pull it off. It shows, because I saw consistency after consistency, scene after scene. Everyone knew what they were doing. The film, like, wow, that's a good angle. Wow, that's a good shot. To get that at home. And I kept seeing it, and I'm like, oh, so they had a great teacher, and they were already prepared.
Oh, yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. And to be able to take those lessons that you learned from master class, and then apply it. And now we have this beautiful project. I find that to be amazing. So you talked about some, good things about filming from home, and what was the least thing you like? I think you said it took an hour to set up the camera for one scene. I know that had to be kind of frustrating, but was that like the least of your worries? Was just, some minor things like setting up that one scene? What did you dislike the most about working from home?
Well, in my regular job, I work from home, so it wasn't anything really new or anything. I'm gonna say this. I just have an appreciation for everyone behind the scenes more, because when you're talking about lighting and all of that, and then you're getting into character and filming, it gets hot. So, you got to have your sound on point. So you can't have a fan going in the background. You got to be careful, even your air conditioning unit cutting on. It was just like, oh, let me hurry up and get this together because it's getting hot in here. So that was but I had fun. So I don't have any complaints. I'm excited to learn and grow. So, and being humbled by that opportunity, I thank God every day for that opportunity. So, yeah.
Amen to that. So it's like, we appreciate the people behind the scenes, whether it's lighting, the cameraman, boom operator, it's like things that we never were responsible for. And now we're filling all of those roles, and it really, going back on set, be sure, to myself, say thank you and please. Yes. Okay, I'll go with my mic. Please and thank you, and because you guys are awesome, because I had to do all this by myself for like 3 months because I was filming from home. So I really, really do get that. So do you want to, tell us more, about your character's personality, how you were able to draw inspiration for your character? Do you pull inspiration from, people in your life, your doctor, your neighbors, your sister? How did you build the essence of your character?
Well, I do have family members that work in healthcare. I also work in healthcare, but I work on the IT side on my 8 to 5 job. So, I do watch quite a bit of television as well. So just during this whole pandemic, just being able to, even watching the news, seeing building Dr. Lacey's character. Dr. Lacey, she, just like with other doctors, what you're seeing on the news is very tired. And then with this pandemic, it seems so much, so you get to, try to get into that character, seeing that. And so, yeah, that's kind of like where I draw from. And plus, like I said, with my acting classes, Coach Jay, she teaches us about, our character analysis, our script analysis. We have to know the who, the what and why. So, that helped to build that character for Dr. Lacey and bring the best of what I could to her role.
That's very, very good. So you were able to know how to get the who, what, and why, the backstory of the character. You draw from outside influences, and you just take all that and develop, that character and the layers of that character. So,
and also with season 1, so I watched it, so that helped me too to know kind of like how to build her role as well, like to build it up and then to where I was trying to go with it as well. So, yeah.
So other than your character, who is amazing, do you have a favorite character? Can you tell us who it is and why?
Okay, it depends on which episode. I'm going to say I have several favorite characters. It depends on which episode you're talking about. If I had to weigh everyone in, I would say Dr. LeBlanc.
Wow.
And one of the reasons is that just it's her role actually is like, you see a lot of what's happened during this pandemic. You can relate to her role so well.
I agree. So tell us about you and what you have going on next, and what we can expect to see from you. So you're acting, you're also writing now. What's next for you?
Well, let's see, the sky's the limit. I'm looking forward to because I also taking classes in voiceover, so I want to just in the next couple of months start taking my career to the next level. Like I said, I was just inspired by what Ladies in Film presented when they started their master classes with Elvin Ross and Darius McQuarrie. So, and I am truly grateful for the president, Dr. Michaella, who invited me to the Ladies in Films master classes. And then when I talked to Coach Jay and asked her about joining her class, she was like, yes. So who knows right now what's next. I just look forward to working with more with the great cast that we have for Speed Blues. I will say we have a great cast and they are very helpful. If you have any questions or anything, everyone's so responsive and it's more like a family. So who knows? You never know.
Absolutely. That's good. You're right about it feeling like a family. I find this whole process. I too joined Ladies in Film and Television early this year in January. And since I've been in the midst of these dynamic women and men, it's just been so much love, such a family, orientated organization, and so much opportunity for growth. And I'm just forever grateful for that. Someone like me who walked away from broadcasting over 20 years ago and decided to give it another shot. And I sent an email to Jeanette inquiring about this position that I'm doing today, and a swift response, and the rest is history. So I'm just grateful to see what's next for all of us. Who knows? That's so right on point. Like after I'm done with these interviews on the end of this week, what's next for Shayna? I don't know, but it's going to be great, right? Just like you.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what's next, but we're all being equipped for the next opportunity that will present itself through this organization.
True. Oh, yes, Shayna. We're glad to have you too.
Thank you. I'm
And we
excited.
really are. And I'm excited too. I just truly believe that, every no is a step closer to a better yes of what God has for each of us. And so we're going to learn and grow together. And we just thank God every day. And especially with this pandemic, I really believe that God has a message for all of us.
Yes.
And hopefully that we hear him and hear him well. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up the pandemic because on previous interviews, I was just curious to know if there was something that positive in your life that came out of it where you gave something a second chance or you revisited a situation or you healed a relationship, whatever it may be that you feel comfortable sharing. Is there something, throughout this pandemic? Did you like, you mentioned you just started acting again.
Mhm.
Did this pandemic and you spending all this time at home give you that courage to step and try something new again?
Yes, actually, because I was my mother's caregiver for over 6 years. Um, I didn't really talk unless you knew me, you wouldn't have known. Um, Unfortunately, my mother had dementia. I was her caregiver, and when she would actually like really talk to me, she kept telling me to do something for me. She kept saying,
Yeah.
you sacrifice so much for me. I want you to do something for you. Do something to make yourself happy to laugh because I see the sacrifices you're making. And so she passed away 2 days before Mother's Day last year. And that was, right as the pandemic, we were right starting. And I was like, you know what, God, she's right. It's my time. And so, I pray more. And my faith is increased. And, one thing I've learned through this whole process is to love more. Unfortunately, we live in a world that's very judgmental, but we need to first love people and love one another more. We're trying to clean the fish, and we haven't even went out fishing. Just to share the love of Jesus, because that's what Jesus was about. So that's where I am, and like being humbled, and I'm more humbled. I'm thankful for the opportunity and how I can help someone else, along this journey, because we are here. We need to encourage each other, love each other, and do what we can. And I believe that like during this pandemic, that's where I am. Like, what can I do to help someone else? And I'm not perfect. No one is, but we can grow together, learn together, and help each other. So, losing my mom, that really hurt. And like, I draw on a lot of the strength from those days of helping her and seeing her suffer, so yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it's impacted all of us. So the time is now. Like, what it taught me is we're good enough right now. We accepted Christ. We're good enough, period. That's where we are today. You look in the mirror, tell yourself you're beautiful, you're loved already. And one thing I tell my children is to never let anyone make you feel or try to make you feel less than who God says you are. And that's it.
Well,
God's
amen.
validated you. He's already said you're more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. Now let's move. So,
Yes, well,
yeah.
amen to that. Michaella Terrell, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure to speak with you. Please be sure to follow Michaella on Instagram at Michaella_Elverton. Once again, that's at Michaella_Elverton on Instagram. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you,
Have a
Shayna.
great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Another amazing interview, ladies and gentlemen. Michaella Terrell, she plays the actress and the role of Dr. Lacey, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm looking at my schedule today, and for this next slot, I have a question mark. I have surprise. So I don't know who's next. I know who's closing out, but I have no idea who I'm interviewing next because it says surprise question mark. So it's going to be a surprise to me. Hello.
Surprise, Miss Stone. How are
are
you?
you today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. How are
I'm
you?
excited to have you here today. Where in the world are you? Where am I interviewing you from?
I live in Manhattan.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh my gosh, what a pleasure. I am so excited. So, could you please, Emerson, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone here today and let them know the role you play in Sea Blues?
Absolutely. Thank you. I am so honored to play Pastor Quigley. He is really a really interesting and questionable guy who decides to keep his church open. And despite warnings due to COVID, and gets him into all kinds of hot water. But he grows especially through season 2. So he's a fun guy. He says things like, "Come on now, pudding britches," stuff like that. So.
Okay, my mic is unmuted. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties, some feedback, and we're not sure where it's coming from, so they're going to mute my mic from time to time. You just did that lovely accent. Now, I hear you say you're in Manhattan.
Yes.
Where are you from? Are you a native of New York, or where are you from? Because I'm hearing you, Emerson, but then I just heard Pastor Quigley, and those are two totally different accents.
Yes, yeah, I'm from the West Coast. I grew up outside of Seattle, and then also lived in San Francisco for a while before moving to New York.
Amazing, because I was like, I'm for sure he's from Louisiana, from New Orleans. No, what a surprise! That's just amazing. So,
yeah.
Can you tell me? Okay, we got season 1 under your belt. Are you done with season 2?
Season 2 was off the charts. It's Miss Jeanette Greenwood, so fantastic, and her team in writing. It was such a journey, and we who knew that. First of all, Pastor Quigley is quite the crier, and he seems to cry about a lot of things. And he has all kinds of reasons to cry for happy and cry for sad, particularly in season 2. So it's I'm really looking forward for people seeing season 2 and seeing the great work that Miss Greenwood and her team have done, as well as the entire cast. And the cast is fantastic. Everyone's amazing and so supportive and so wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I want to go back a little bit. You were talking about how, Pastor Quigley kept the church open. We've seen that in real life. We've seen some pastors rely on their faith and belief in God, that it is, the will of God for me to continue to serve the parishioners and the churchgoers. How did you feel about that? We saw it in real life. We saw some stories and some people got ill and perished. How did you feel about that? And like looking at those news clips, how were you able to draw your character, like you said, the emotional aspect? Because I felt that your role is a very emotional one.
Yeah, thanks. I did some research on sort of television evangelists and took elements of some of the things that I saw there, sort of the attempts to be, charismatic or being charismatic. And what I thought about Quigley in season 1 is essentially accused of keeping the church open for financial reasons. And that if people don't come to church, there's not going to be tithing, and I think that's certainly part of it. But I also think that the way I approached it was that he believed that God would just work miracles, and not to say that God doesn't, but what's the saying about helping yourself, and so making good decisions when there's scientific guidance coming towards you. So he turns it around, and I don't want to say anything about what happens in season 2, but there's definitely a reckoning for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about this in every interview. Everyone's been filming from home virtually, and some of us have had experience in it. Some of us are really, really good at it, and some of us may struggle. What was your experience like filming an entire web series or seasons from home?
Yeah, it was a huge learning experience, as other people have said. And really, from season 1 moving to season 2, where most of us started working with green screens and had improved cameras and microphones and that sort of thing. We were doing it by the seat of our pants, especially in the early episodes of season 1, and everyone grew and learned. I found it to be this amazing connection. I mean, it was one of the things that kept me going, particularly during the spring of last year when things were so dismal, and everyone was afraid. We weren't sure, what was going to happen, when it was going to end. And this was a way for me, and I'm sure others, to be creative, to have purpose, to have a structure, to think outside of ourselves a little bit. I mean, at least for me, I felt a little sorry for myself from time to time. Like, I've just moved to New York, and now I'm locked down, and boy, am I tired of my apartment, and all of that. So it was a savior of sorts to me. It got me through some tough times.
It gives you a sense of purpose. We had an outlet, to express our creativity and to express it in the way, by doing something that we love to do,
Yeah. And I had COVID right before we started working. I didn't know that I had it. It was March 16th when I became sick. It was still so early. I thought maybe I just had a cold or the flu, and we couldn't get tested then. You just couldn't get a test. So I didn't know until I lost my sense of smell and my sense of taste that, oh yeah, I probably have it. And then ultimately I tested and did have it historically. So this was a way for me to really, just to really, I hope, help people to think about being more careful than maybe they would have otherwise. Everyone makes decisions for themselves. And, I really hope that was the case. And I hope that the whole series actually did that for folks.
Thank you. And you just answered one of the questions, I was getting ready to ask you without giving it away. What do you think the audience will take away? And I think perhaps even this may be tied in it is to take COVID seriously and to know, take the necessary precautions to not only save your life, but the lives of others and the ones around you. So, but if you want to elaborate even more on that question, no, let's back up. I'm going to ask about favorite characters. By far in this interview, I think you have been named like the favorite character many, many, many times. So without naming yourself, favorite character and why?
Oh, wow. So many. I would have to say what comes to my top of my head right away is Mother Hattie and Mother Gertie, because I want to go day drinking with them. They drink during the day, and I just want to hang out, have a good time. I want them they make me laugh, and I would, be kept up on all the latest gossip, and it'd be awesome. that would be so great to hang out with them. But there are so many other. The two loves of my life, First Lady Quigley and Dr. Morgandale,
Yeah.
are awesome, and a special shout out to Nurse Nidra. Yeah, but so many good folks.
I can understand,
Yeah.
why it's so hard to choose. There's so much organic chemistry, a dynamic cast. It would be difficult for me to, even choose. So, the other question, and if you want to elaborate on without giving it away, what do you think the audience is going to take away or walk away with after seeing season 2?
Yeah, that is an excellent question. I haven't quite thought of that before. I think that there are parts that hopefully they'll be engaged and entertained, and I think there's a certain sense of I think that they'll leave with hope.
Yeah, and that's good. We all need a glimmer of hope, and we want to see, and we're starting to see that right now as certain bans become lifted. I know you're on the East Coast in Manhattan. I'm here in Texas, so we're seeing the glimmers of hope and that slight return to normalcy. So that there's hope in everything, in all aspects of life. It may take some time, but we'll eventually get there.
All right. I mean, it's that even through the pandemic, life has continued, and I've heard certainly there's been many tragedies through this. Of course, so many people have been lost and sick and debilitated and all that, and at the same time, there's also been many. I heard you asking previous guest Michaella that about what was something that was positive that came out of the pandemic, and so I was thinking about that as I was listening in and thinking that the first thing that came to mind is, well, I learned some yoga. So I took some online yoga classes. That was awesome. And I also, one of the things that really came forward for me as a part of the sort of the personal growth process was how much opportunity there is to have gratitude, even when things are tough. And what are the things that I can focus on that are that I appreciate, that I value? What are the things about me that I appreciate and value? But more importantly, what are the things about my family and the people that I know, people in the world, my social media connections? What are the things that I can be grateful about? And it's when I focus on that, I'm just so uplifted by how much there is there to be grateful for. And so for me, that was one of just the best thing that's been the result of the pandemic. And I'm trying to focus on that. I'm trying to continue to focus on that. And as I'm calling it I call it something, not the post-pandemic, but the waning pandemic or something. I have some sort of phrase I use. And as the pandemic wanes, I'm trying to maintain this focus on gratitude and kindness, generosity, those sorts of things that in the hustle bustle of day to day, it's hard to, sometimes I forget that. And so that's what I really want to take away from this period. I talked a lot there. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I think that gratitude is so important. And just when you sit in gratitude, you open up yourself for opportunities for new things. And I really, really like that response. So it looks like we do have your Instagram, and is it Emerson Buchholz, actor at, I'm sorry, let me see.
Yeah, it's Emerson.
Okay.
Yeah, It's Emerson A. Buchholz at actor. Yeah, it's Emerson A. Buchholz actor.
Be sure to follow Emerson on Instagram at Emerson Buchholz actor. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, Emerson. It has been a pleasure interviewing you, and I am looking forward to seeing you in season 2.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you. Have a good evening.
Likewise, you too. Wow, I love surprises. I'm so excited. For some reason, maybe I probably printed out not the right schedule, but that was a surprise for me. I am just amazed. It has been an honor and a privilege to interview Emerson Buchholz. What an amazing interview. What an amazing night thus far. This is week 2 of our interviews, and it's just been fantastic. I'm looking here. I think I have Marlene. Who do I have? Oh, I'm so sorry. Marlene. Okay. Sorry about that technical glitch there. I'm back. Uh-oh. Sorry about the technical glitch. I am back. We have another amazing actor on deck today. I'm going to be interviewing Marlene Thornton. Marlene is on with me today. I'm excited. Let's welcome Marlene.
Hello.
Hi, Marlene. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. I think I at first was in the wrong room, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm on the wrong.
It's okay. Technical difficulties happen all the time. So I'm here. I've had since I started quite a few, but we always persevere. We always make it through. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. Where are you?
I am in the DFW Metroplex in Arlington.
Wonderful. So not too far away. I was joking with another castmate. I said, I don't know how much more of this rain we're going to be able to take. I didn't move to Seattle. I moved to Dallas.
Well, I'm originally from Dallas.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So if you would please go ahead and tell us who you play. What role did you play in Sea Blues? And tell us a little bit about your character, please.
Okay. I play the role of Nurse Nedra. Some people call her Nidra. And I was started in the first season. And Nurse Nidra is she's had issues that happened in her past that makes her react the way that she reacts. And but she's an excellent nurse, and she's played by the book type of nurse. So she can be a little bit extra.
And develop that character. What was your inspiration behind building that personality or the essence of Nurse Nidra?
Well, actually, dealing and getting my characterization for her, actually, I dealt with me ministering, because in real life I'm an ordained minister. So I deal with a lot of different type of people, and a lot of the problems that she have had, I've dealt with people that have those type of problems and trying to work them through it. So that was kind of my inspiration for her, because I don't know of a nurse that I had contact with that had her specific issues. So I had to kind of pull from ministry to make her. And certainly I like her as a character because she's not one-dimensional. There's a lot of sides to her. So she's interesting. She's very very
She
interesting.
really is. And you can tell that there's layers of personality brewing up, and I really can't wait to see more, lots of layers and depth, from your character. So, tonight and in all of the other interviews, we just really been talking about the series and how everyone had to film from home. Some have, shared the highs and lows of that. Can you just share with me, what was it like for you filming from home?
Well, actually, filming from home helped me because as the pandemic started, we started doing everything virtual, and we had uh, auditioning. You did it virtually as opposed to traveling, which is a help. So when we began doing the series last year, that was a help for me to have to film, because it helped me hone my skills, and I'm still honing my skills and um, auditioning virtually. So this whole series done virtually actually was good for me. Getting it right, sometimes you have to make sure you get it right, and you have to do a lot of different things. But I mean, the whole experience was actually more of a help for me than a hindrance. So the only thing I think that I did not totally like was the fact that when you're in person, you feed off of that person because they're live in the room with you, and you feed off of that person's energy. But when we would have practice, and I get ready to do my scene, well, the person that I'm doing the scene with um, was there too. So I still fed off of them, and the Lanita Bryant, the lady that plays Nurse Cassie, I've been in things with her before, so we have a camaraderie sort of. So I kind of know her energy, and when we're all together, I mean, all of us, it seems as though even though we're on Zoom, we still feed off of each other, and that's the good thing. And then there were times where my uh scene mates, we would get together sometimes and go over our scenes and everything, so that helped as well. And it helped build a bond, and an acting bond sometimes is how that person react about certain things. So when you're close to them, you kind of know how they do different things, and it helps. So it turned out we made the best of COVID. In my opinion, we made the best of COVID. And Jeanette, when she came up with the idea of doing it virtually, it was really, we were really like, just kind of getting our feet wet. But it was a joyous adventure. That's basically what it was. It was an adventure because I hadn't seen anybody doing stuff like that. And I'm sure people may have, but we're one of the first that, she was actually one of the first that did it. So it turned out really great. And then as the industry is going, it looks like they're going to keep doing the virtual auditions even beyond COVID, and which is great. So you don't have to travel and, until you really need to, if you get the role. Yeah.
You talked on so many amazing points. One, Jeanette has already equipped you all. Those of you who have taken the classes and worked with her, you already had the tools necessary to be able to do auditions from home, to film from home, because it was a part of a master class that many of you were a part of. So now, like you said, going forward, that may become the industry standard, when it comes to the audition process, and you're already equipped with that. Everybody has learned so much about themselves during this process. They've learned new techniques that are invaluable as an artist, as an actress. So, let's piggyback on that. So you're an ordained minister, you're a writer. And how long have you been acting? And where did you get your start? Did you start in theater? Did you start in film?
Well, actually, I started acting when I was a kid. I used to go to private school, and we would have this play, this big production every year. So I would be really waiting for that production. So that's where my love of it grew. But as I got in high school, I began, I will never forget, Marie Haynes Smethers was my acting coach. And she kind of pushed us in the way that I don't want you to just act. I want you to be able to do something else, like behind the scenes, and we could pick whatever we wanted to do. So I opted for makeup as well as acting, so stage makeup. So those things I learned from her. When I got to college, there was a guy on college, teacher on my college campus called John Gaston, and we did a lot of those.
Thank you so much, Marlene, for that amazing interview. So we may have had some technical difficulties with Marlene, so we're going to end that interview there. If she does happen to come back, then we will interview her another time. So we're going to move on to the last interview of the night. And this powerhouse needs no introduction at all. She is the vice president of Lyft. She is a powerhouse of great power and influence. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Catrina Pullum.
Hey.
Hi, Dr. Catrina. How are you this evening?
I am great. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. I'm excited to be here and to be interviewing you. So I have so much. I don't even know where to start. We have the vice president of Lyft. Right there.
Let's just have a casual, regular conversation. They'll tell you everybody doesn't get this opportunity. So, just ask me whatever you like. Don't be nervous at all. So let's just have a great time.
Well, let's have a great time. I just wanted to get out really, some of your titles, and I'm going over your bio. And the first thing that comes to mind to me, just when I glanced at it, I don't know who you look up to or who inspires you, but Clarence Avant, right? This was a man in the industry that you don't really know what he did, but you knew he was the man. Before I saw that Netflix.
That sounds like how people describe me. They're like, I know you're somebody, but I don't know who. Or I know you're somebody big, but I don't know what you do. I get that all the time.
Yeah, I glanced at this bio and I said, okay, we got a black godfather, but I think this is the black godmother right here. I don't know what she do, but you just know, people like you have have a presence, and it's really hard to looking at all of this. It's hard for me to quantify or to even condense it into a few sentences. I'm like, oh my gosh, now communication is my area of expertise, and I can take difficult, complex things and give it back to my audience in a way that is understandable. I couldn't do it with this.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's so much, and I'm looking at the name of one of your companies, and I'm gonna take a stab at it. I not speak French, but we have.
It is French. It's a part of my heritage, so it is French.
Let me try. Let's see. So
okay.
Poisson Maison. Can you?
You're close. Yeah, you're close to Sans Maisons Productions, and it means powerhouse. And so, everything around all of my brands or anything that I do, it comes with power. People say that my husband and I are a power couple. People say that individually we are powerful, but we could not be powerful or have anything with power without having the power from above. And so, I stand firmly on my faith. And so, yes, it's French for powerhouse, because anything that we touch is powerful. So
anything that you touch is powerful. So you hold many titles, but I'm reading here as an entertainment executive, you're 1/5 negotiator, 1/5 therapist, 1/5 networker, but 2/5 entrepreneur.
yes. Yes. Because as an entrepreneur, you really have to put in the work. It's a lot of work. A lot of times we want to, when things get hard or when it gets rough or it may not seem like it's going our way, instead of like just continue to push through, we have a tendency to just jump off the boat and quit. And so if you're going to be this entrepreneur, you're going to do this entrepreneur thing, you're going to have to put in the work.
So can you share, the importance of entrepreneurship with us? And when did you start your first entrepreneur, endeavor? What was your first company?
Oh, wow. So, when did I start my first company? It's been a while. But I would say officially as an adult, when I started my first company, it was back in like the early 90s. I used to have a boutique, so I used to do online clothes, all of those things. And that was like my little, whatever they say, your side hustle. That was like my little side hustle, because I was very engulfed into my career at that time and what I was doing. But officially being an official entrepreneur, I would say came around 2008 when I decided to do a nonprofit. And so the nonprofit was birthed basically during a time of grievance. And so anybody who knows me knows that I normally take a sad situation or something that may not be, let's call those challenges. I take a challenging situation that I'm experiencing and I find the positive in it and birth whatever God gives me at that time. And so I would say officially 2008, because I am still here. I am still in the game and I am steady building and growing and raising up other entrepreneurs as well. So
very, very good. So I'm once again looking at your bio and I see entertainment executive, chief creative officer, president, and co-creator of Pullum Media and Business Consulting. So you lead creatives, producers, and strategists globally. When you lead them, is it coaching and advising them on their next move? Are you helping them, with their budgets? You got people with millions and sometimes $1 million budgets. Can you just kind of give us some insight on
it's everything? Yeah, it's everything. And so I'm a vision strategist. So if you come to me, I see that Mother Hattie Mae is on here. She's one of my mentees that I have pushed into their purpose. And so it's everything. Now, when you get to the financial piece, I don't do that. I send them to the celebrity financial expert, which is Dr. Lynn Richardson, who changed my life many, many years ago financially when it came to thinking about money and especially money in business. And if you're not in business and you're in your career and that's the path you want to go, that is great too. She can help you with retirement, all of those things. And so for me on my end, if you tell me what your vision is, I'm the person that helps you to execute it. I am sometimes what they call me the pimp, which means pushed into my promise, not anything else, but I'm the one. Everyone needs at least one cheerleader. So I'm the one that's going to coach you. I'm going to cheer you on. But the key thing is, and Jeanette is a prime example of this. The key thing is that when you ask for it, like most of my mentees say, don't ask for something that you're not ready for, because you have to be a willing participant. Because I'm not going to do all the work. I'm not going to pick up the phone and call and chase you down and do all of that. Call me, and that's how I know that you're interested. Show me your plans and what you're doing, and we will move forward. So that's what I do when I work. Not, like I said, not just with entrepreneurs, but people who are in their careers and they're ready to take their careers to the next level. I work with them as well. I specialize specifically in working with individuals. Oh, I love it. That people, they're not a part of the popular crowd. You know how you have, like the diamonds and, the dirty jewels and stuff that nobody wants. They don't want to do the work to clean them up and all of that. Or, they're not the popular kid, or they're not the popular things that people are going for. Well, those are the things and the people that I'm attracted to. When people sit and say, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm this and that, I live the life that is going to be pleasing to God. I'm very strong in my faith. So as always, I truly live that. What would Jesus do? Would Jesus just walk over this person? Would Jesus just ignore this person? Because I'm going to tell you, most of the people that I have found, especially in this entertainment industry, and people that I have pushed into their purpose, have been those people that people have spoken negatively into their lives and didn't realize that under all of what you say or looked at and thought was like, they're not going anywhere, they're not popular, they're not my type, they're not my kind, was that diamond in the rough. And those are the people that God has given me to work with. And I love it. I don't know if, well, I don't care what Jeanette say. I'm going to share her story because we met. Let me tell you, I just stopped questioning God, but like I travel, I get called to go here, to go there. And I just stopped saying, well, why am I here? Because most of the time when I go somewhere, I'm not there for the reason that I'm really supposed to be there. And how I met Jeanette was, I'm not going to say a fluke, but we were at an event that was a fluke. But the positiveness in it was that I met her. So I felt that we were divine to meet each other. I wasn't living in Texas at the time. I met her and we clicked from the time we just saw each other. Her, Lucretia, and some more other people that I'm still friends with today. And I saw the gift then. I saw it more, especially when I relocated back here, and we began to just show up on the scene at different places. And she's one of the people that I push, you can do it, and I tell people all the time is that you got to be careful of words, because words are very powerful and they stick with people, and they can either make them grow like me, or they can easily put a person in a funk where they just really don't want to do anything anymore. And so with Jeanette, I am very, very proud of her. And so when she asked me to be one of her co-directors, of course I said yes, because I've watched her blossom from, oh my God, to like, I'm just going to stay over here and do my little plays, I'm just going to write, to becoming an international, not local, because we like to do stuff on a global level, but an international award-winning filmmaker and writer, and just whatever she just creates. And so I am glad that, she brought me on board to co-direct with her, to be the vice president of Lyft, which is like her baby. She met with Michaella and I, and we see the gift in her. And so we just continue to push her. You know, she's the oldest, but I act like I'm the oldest. But, you know, I just love her and her family to death. And it's nothing that she can do about it. So,
Yeah. You know, it's a word that sticks out in your bio, and it's visionary. Dr. Catrina, how much of your work solely relies on your intuition, and do you always trust it?
oh, yes. I had to learn. I had to get to that point to always trust my intuition. And that was totally based on just a few things that I had an intuition on, but I still decided to do it my way anyway, and it didn't work. And so, being a visionary, you have to be able to trust. You have to be able to walk in your purpose on purpose. You have to be able to execute the vision when nobody else understands what God has given you. You have to be able to say, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it by myself. You know, he's going to be with you, but you got to be able to step on out there. And I've been there. Even I think at one time, like the first couple of times, my husband was like, how are we going to do this? I don't see this. Like he didn't see it. And then once it was executed, oh, he stopped asking questions. I'm like, okay, here's the next project. Here is what I see. This is what I need to do. And he just, you know, let's go for it. And I always evaluate everything, you know, like what could we have done better, you know, for the next time, you know, just those things. And the scary thing is, though, that when you're a visionary, especially someone like me, first of all, my brain is always going, it's always racing. And the second thing is that the vision is way bigger than me. It's not about me. It's a global vision. It's all about global impact. Anybody who's worked with me, some people are watching now, they will tell you the first thing, if you come to me and we're going to do this, what's your expectation? What's your reach? And if you're just thinking on the local level, it's not my season to work with you, because that's not what I've been designed to do. So anything that I touch, it expands to the masses. And I'm very humble by that. I had to learn how to, once again, one of my other quotes is, you got to embrace your power. You got to be able to embrace the light that God is giving you. Don't dim your light because of someone else's insecurities. And so when I begin to embrace my power and accept the globalness of the brand and what God has given me, I begin to see things and people grow and expand. So
As creatives, as directors, as producers and strategists, how will we know when we need someone like you? You answered the first part, because if you're thinking small and you're thinking on a low level, local, I'm sorry, not low, but local level, you might not be ready for Dr. Catrina. So could you just give some insight? You have, you know, tons of talent here from various backgrounds. When will they need a Dr. Catrina in their life? Is it, don't call me, I'll call you? What's the process?
no, because remember I said earlier, if you want it, you got to reach out to me. And so whether if you're like my season, Dr. Catrina, it's local now, but what advice can you give me? I can give them some advice. I have a team, and so my team works with everybody. When people come and they're like, well, what do I need? Da, 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 da. I can't tell you individually what you need without us having a conversation, because everything is custom. Everybody know I'm the queen of customization. And that's in every aspect, because what works for one client may not work for you. You know, what works for one of my mentees may not work for you. And so that's when you get people to tap into their own intuition. You get people to tap into their own skills, where they're not on social media or anywhere else worrying about what Susie, Johnny, everybody else is doing, but find the greatness in you. Let's tap into the greatness in you. And then from there, See, that's where I come in at. Then from there, you can grow, you can expand. And if it's just for you to work on a local level, that's great too. But I want you to be the best. I want you to be the great, put forth every effort into it to be great. So I know the team knows that, I'm kind of that hard one. So, when they come up for auditions or when they in rehearsal, I ain't going to tell you what you want to hear, because I'm going to prepare you for when you go. A lot of times we take different situations lightly, but I want to prepare you for when you go before a Tyler Perry, whenever you go before Ava DuVernay or any of those people, what their expectations are going to be. You show up late, and especially but take it as constructive criticism. Take it as constructive criticism, because you never know who's watching your every move. You never know what's going to come across my desk, what's going to come across Jeanette's desk. Who can we make a referral to? There are several people that's on here that can tell you that I may have called them. Either they was ready for the opportunity or they wasn't ready for the opportunity, those different things. But make yourself available to answer the call. And that's what I do. That's how I push you into your purpose. As a visionary, you tell me what it is that you want. And when I see that you're ready, I give you the opportunity. I'll open the door for you, because I'm the queen of, if you don't open the door for me, guess what? I'm going to build my own. I ain't building no door. I'm going to build the manor. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build the manor. But guess what? I'm reaching back to bring others with me into the manor. I don't need all that space for myself. I'm reaching back to bring others, but I'm going to make sure that they are equipped with everything that they need.
Okay. So yes, that is, I'm just sitting here and I'm absorbing. I have all my list of questions, but
that's just like I pushed you. I was like, I'm not, remember I put you into the interviews. I was driving. I was on my way back to town. And when we spoke with you, I was like, I'm not doing no interviews. You're going to do them all. And see, people have reached out to you since this and everything.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, I'm going to do this because I'm a committed person, and it was a challenge. And she said, what? But I said, okay. And it was days where in the middle of it, I wanted to give up, but you just got to have that perseverance. It was times where I had to just draw from the top of my head, or just turn these papers over and interview from my heart, if that's even a thing, just whatever, comes to mind. And I guess that's what I'll do for the rest of this interview is, I'm going to move all of this aside, you because the way that you're speaking to the masses, but you're speaking, into me. And this is an invaluable opportunity that I have here, and I recognize that. So I was trying to, formalities and as the host to have all of these interview questions, but I'm in a position to receive and to absorb the message. You know what I'm saying? So now I can push my papers aside.
And guess what? I'm sitting here thinking, because I might call you about another opportunity. Let me check into something, but let me know what you're doing. What is it? June 19th. Let me know what you're doing June 19th.
I will. So, I think I have something, but it can be moved around. I'm going to say that I'm flexible. I wanted to ask you a question before we go, and I wanted to know the importance of investing in ourselves. Sometimes I'm guilty when I spend money on headshots, photo shoots, makeup. How important is it for us to invest in ourselves, even when we don't feel comfortable, we may not feel like we're going to get the return that we desire. Could you, share with us how
Ooh,
important that is?
wow. This is what I would say. Once again, you got to step out on faith. You have to invest in yourself. I'm a big, big champion of that, investing into yourself. So for about 3 years, like I said, you may never understand. You may want to give up. I would say tweak some things along the way, but never give up, especially if it's something you believe that you've been told that this is what you need to do. For years, I invested, didn't know why. I mean, I know why. I saw the work being done. I didn't expect like the massiveness of it and where I am today to be in the place where I am. But I invested for about 2 or 3 years. And just when I know this person, they're in the industry, they're big in the industry, they kept saying all of a sudden, Doc, I need to meet with you. I need to meet with you. We were always, this particular time, we were in the same building. I would always miss their call, or something would happen where we could not connect. And so I didn't feel bad or anything. I just, when we got finished, we were there on mutual business. When we got finished, I packed up. I went home, and I think like a week later, I get this call like, can you come to Los Angeles? And I'm looking. I looked at my husband. I was like, I said I was not traveling. I was not doing anything. That's what I had said. And so my husband was like, sure, make it happen. But I had a friend say, why are you all always sponsoring or pouring back? They have money. So why are you always sponsoring and doing this and all of this stuff and giving of yourself and your time? And part of me was going to jump out the boat. And I stepped back and I was like, no, I believe in the mission. I see the work being done. This is why we support. And so not knowing, when they asked me to come, I didn't say, are you covering my flight? Are you doing any of this? I took care of all of my expenses. I took care of all of my expenses for like a year. Anytime they needed me, I came. They never asked me for anything but just to come. And I went. And they sold into me. I sold into myself. I sold back into them. And so not knowing what was going on or how everything was going to break out. But I will say this, after a year, they watched my commitment. And I didn't even know what I was committing to or that I was even committing. I was just supporting, and I believed in my dream of what I wanted. But I'm also a servant at heart. And so I was serving. And after a year, I developed a full-fledged business relationship within this whole entity. And that's when all the work that I had put into the industry, where like I had literally stopped my business, because sometimes you can get hurt by the industry. I had stopped my business and I restructured it. God kept saying restructure, but only restructure to accommodate the clientele that you want. Say what it is that you want, speak it into existence. And when I focused on the clientele that I truly wanted, those doors were open after those years of like investing. Now, how about if I would have jumped out or gave up listening to my friend? If I would have just gave up, I wouldn't be where I am today. Probably I wouldn't be. And what I can say is like the doors that have been open, the calls I'm on a daily basis. It's like, everybody who knows, like, oh my God, I'd be so excited. For me, I had to ask, like, is something wrong with me? Because I'm not excited. Like I'm sitting on the phone with, oh my God, some of these, like some real big time celebrities. And for me, it's more of, I'm like, okay, whatever. But someone had to tell me, because you're in the space where you're supposed to be. And when you know you're in the space where you're supposed to be, you just shine automatically. And so I say all that to say, continue to invest in yourself. Be intentional about, not an opportunist, but be intentional about where you place yourself. Don't run to all of these different places because you feel like you got to be in the room. You need to make sure that you're being intentional about where you're placing yourself for your brand and where it is that you want to go, and continue to invest in yourself, and don't give up, because what's going to happen is the more people see you on the scene, the more they're going to want to know who you are, the more they're going to see that you are committed to the craft and you just not doing it when you feel like it, and that you're committed. And so do not give up. If you feel like this is where you're supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to do, it's going to happen.
Wow, very well said. I don't have any more questions. This was just an amazing opportunity just to be in dialogue with you and to hear what you had to say. And I am so appreciative. This was a treat for all of us here, for Ladies in Film and Television. And be intentional is what I take away from this whole conversation, plus more, but be intentional in all things that you do. And, your gifts will make room for you. And you have to invest in yourself. It is a must. It is integral to any and everything that we do. We have to invest in ourselves and be dedicated to ourselves. I was going to ask you what's next for Dr. Catrina, but there's lots of things next. It depends on the day of the week and whatever country you're in, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I am
Oh,
grateful.
wow.
Whatever else you want to share, you're more than welcome to, and then we can close.
Yeah. So what's next? Of course, Sea Blues is coming, because this is what this is all about. We're actually doing our premiere this Thursday. So if you go over to the Lyft fan page on Facebook, or you follow Sea Blues on social media or any of our pages, you will get the details for the premiere, which is Thursday. And so, Sea Blues, for those of you that don't know or just tuned in from my page as well, it's about Corona Blues. It's about the effects that it has not only had on, the people on the front line, but the family members who's been affected. Those things, the challenges that we have. We also touch on, just relationships and all of those different things. I am so proud of the actors who are a part, who said yes, because one thing I'm going to say, they took on this project and they're not getting paid, and they worked this project just like they were getting paid. And once again, I say to them is that we remember you, we see you, and so when things come across, when opportunities come, trust me, we will be at your door with those opportunities. And so we have that. I have a children's book series called Growing with Grace, and Grace has taken on a whole character by herself. But the second book is being released this summer, so we're excited about that. And Grace is important to us because I was writing the book for my son, who had dealt with losing grandparents. But during this whole process, I began to heal myself and realize that the book wasn't even for him. It was for me, because I'm Grace. And so I share a little bit of my story in the book as well. And so that'll be releasing this summer. And so you can follow the Growing with Grace fan page. She has some other great things that's coming out. So if you follow the fan page, you'll get some things from there. And then we're going to have a masterclass coming for those of you who are authors and you want to know how to turn your book into a stage play or turn your book into a film. My writers and I are getting together to put on a master class. And so that is something that we're going to offer through Ladies in Film and Television and some other entities as well. So, you know, it's a lot going on. It's too much to think about. Oh, but June 19th, Jeanette and some of the other ladies who are in the industry, Asante from Sea Blues and Lifetime Network. We're all coming together June 19th for the Juneteenth Festival. If you're in Dallas, it'll be at Fair Park. We would love for you to come out and support our panel as we talk about pivoting during COVID-19. You know, all of us are entrepreneurs, are business owners, and so we're going to do a panel on that. And every woman that's on the panel, from Chef Felicia Guimai, who is a celebrity chef. She's in the entertainment industry. She worked with a lot of these Dallas Cowboys and other athletes. She'll be on the panel. We have Catrice, the CEO of Military Glam, but she's also a celebrity stylist. She'll be there along with Jeanette. Am I forgetting anybody? I think I have everybody. So we'll be there in full-fledged to pour back into people and not only just give them hope, but let them know that whatever you're going through, you know, go ahead and kick that in the trash. Let it go. Because the more we spend with I shoulda, coulda, woulda, or I'm depressed, the more our dream is placed on hold. I'm a very action-oriented person. And so if you come to me, I'm going to see a side story for about 3-5 minutes. But after that, I'm like, what's the plan? What we going to do? How we going to make it happen? You know, those things. And so I just want to really just encourage someone, you know, that's out there. Like, don't give up on your dream. Keep going. I'm known across the country as a chain breaker. And guess what? I own that name. It's been trademarked. And so, you know, the train breaker is all about pushing you into your purpose. You know, we don't let our situations dictate who we're going to be. We got to push forward. We got to let those chains go, because you can be just as important as the next person standing next to you. And don't let age be a factor. Age is not a factor, so don't use that as an excuse neither. You can be whatever you want to be, because guess what? If they not going to open the door for you, you can come on over to the manor, because we got a lot of room for you, okay? So, yes.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor and pleasure interviewing Dr. Catrina today. Be sure to follow her on Instagram at Dr. Catrina. That's at Dr. Catrina on Instagram. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another fantastic night of amazing interviews. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as we interview more of the cast and crew from Sea Blues. Thank you for watching.
Now,
Justice, now I know I'm sick, but you better watch your mouth and show me some respect. Do you hear me?
respect. Respect? What do you know about respect, huh? Because I have a whole daddy out here.
Justice, if you would just stop. Please, let me explain. You don't know. You just don't know.
It'll be fun, I promise. Oh, you thought I was about to spend big money on you? Girl, there's a taco shop around the corner. There's a bomb-ass corner store.
Corner store? I know the hell you did not just do all that just to invite me out to a corner store.
I can really say something is what you do in the dark, eventually it'll come to the light.
Well, then maybe try being honest, Dad.
I hate you, Edmund. I hate you. I was there when you were nothing.
Bethany. Bethany, can you hear me? Bethany, I am so sorry. I thought you were happy for me. I'm sorry.
Hello, Patricia.
Why are you back in our lives?
I never left.
Bitch, what?
Hi, Daddy.
Oh, my God. Whew. I've been wanting to hear you. Wait a minute, hold up.
I cannot believe I let him bring me to this corner store for some tacos. He is wee, honey.
Officer, why am I being arrested?
Oh, what are they doing?
What are you doing? He's a doctor.